He joined us a few weeks ago. He is from JNF. He runs a small communities program, and this program today, and our speaker today, is one of the programs that he helps run. So I'm going to turn it over to him and let him introduce our speaker for today.
Thank you, Jamie. And before we get to our speaker, who you can is Lieutenant Colonel Tiran Attia from the IDF. Before we get to him, I'd like to introduce you to his program, which is Special in Uniform. And we have a brief video that will give you a summary overview of this wonderful organization in the IDF. And I will share my screen and share the sound as well. And here we are.
הם היו במסגרות של חינוך מיוחד, הרגישו תחושה של כישלון, ובעצם הפרויקט הזה מאפשר להם להגיע לצבא, לתרום, לתת מעצמם, כמו כולם.
אני מנקה קשיות לערכות מגן. אני מכינה סוללות, ואני גאה שאני פה. ממש גאה שאני פה.
אנחנו לא עושים הנחות בגלל שהם שונים. הם שווים בין כולם. ואני גאה להיות חלק מהמערכת המדהימה הזאת, שגורמת לנו להיות חברה יותר טובה.
הם אוכלים איתנו בחדרי אוכל, הם עובדים איתנו בעבודות, תורמים לכל דבר ועניין בדיוק כמו כל חייל רגיל.
ולאט לאט הם הופכים להיות חלק בלתי נפרד מהיחידה, וביחידה מחכים כל יום שהם יגיעו.
אנחנו פה לוקחים את המחשבים ומפרקים אותם לחלקים.
לעבוד פה זה הכי טוב שיכולתי לבקש.
חלק מהפרויקט זה טירונות שעוברים שבוע ימים, לחלקם זה פעם ראשונה שיוצאים מהבית.
עושים טירונות ולמדים אותם על ערכי צה"ל, הכרת הארץ, בעיקר שמירה על כבוד האדם.
מסע קורסה, גדולים במדים יוצא לדרך!
לא מאמינה שאני עושה. זה גאווה לצאת, אז אני הולכת בזה עם ראש למעלה.
חיכיתי למסע הזה, אני אזכור את זה לכל החיים. קשה להאמין, חיכינו בזמן הרגע הזה, ואני שמחה שהצלחנו.
הפרויקט הזה הוא ברכה, הוא ממש מתנה בשביל הילדים האלה.
סוף סוף עשיתי את זה!
התרגשות גדולה שספיר הצליחה לעמוד במסלול הזה של שביל ישראל, שהיא תקבל היום קומטה.
אני חיכיתי 22 שנה לרגע הזה, והנה הרגע הזה הגיע.
Always such pride anytime I see one of those videos for Special in Uniform. It's fantastic. Did we lose Lieutenant Colonel? Oh, let me send him a note on WhatsApp. There he is, he's back. Okay, good. Sometimes going across the Atlantic can be difficult. Lieutenant Colonel Attia, are you back? There you are. Lieutenant Colonel Tiran Attia serves as Director of Jewish National Fund USA's Special in Uniform, an innovative program that integrates young people with autism and other disabilities into the IDF and in turn into Israeli society. After their service, Special in Uniform helps usher its graduates toward a self-sufficient life through employment and other meaningful social involvement once they're discharged from the Army. over the course of his distinguished 30-year career in the IDF. Lieutenant Colonel Attia commanded a tank, the IDF's Technology and Logistics Forces Training Program, and the SAR-L program for Army volunteers from around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Director of Special and Uniform, Lieutenant Colonel Tiran Attia.
And I'm so happy that I can connect. Usually this time of year, might coming to the US to make a nice tour and meet some amazing people in the US, which like everything that we are doing here in Israel. And what can I say? So my name is Tiran. I served at the Israeli Army for the last 28 years. And the most important thing is after graduating or after finishing service, I started an initiative program that enables people with special needs to become part of the Israeli Army. And when we thought about the idea, this is some kind of a revolutionary idea because people with special needs usually are not mainstream, especially not in the army, which the army requirement is to be a fighter or someone that is supporting those who are fighting. So, so what we developed a program of a 3-stage, which means that first we are analyzing and evaluating each one's ability and trying to emphasize that of each one. So the idea is that we believe that anyone has something to give. Everyone has something to give. And when you find that talent, I use some kind of saying that we are finding an unpolished diamond. And our idea is to really make a fine cut at those diamonds so they will sparkle. And when we find that talent, we are coming to the army and saying to them as follows: look, that guy has a disability, but he has also a talent. Let's take this talent and make all of whom concerned with this talent beneficiaries. So we are finding place for them to work and to be essential at the same place that they are. And the second phase is for them to be part of the Israeli army, integral soldiers like anyone else. And if you get to my Facebook page, you will see a lot of proud soldiers with special needs that are so proud to have the RRID, and they are showing it and presenting it like if it is the most precious thing that they ever had. And the third phase, which I consider the most important phase, is letting them be mainstream at the Israeli labor market. Because being at the Israeli labor market as equal is very, very tough because they have some kind of a special need or special talent. So during the 5 or 6 or 7 years that they are with us, they are being taught so many lives. Those life skills will help them when they will come to be hired by a boss, by a manager, by a CEO, or all kinds of people that are hiring people. And we are surrounding them. We are always satelliting them, like riding a bike, and you have the helping wheels. But when we see that they can go freely, that they can go independently, we are more than happy to let them spread their wings and fly by themselves. Lately, we became one of the largest Israeli group homes, since we saw that most of the kids, when they got home, we saw there is a regression in their behavior, in their way of life skills that they were taught. So we have some kind of developed new set of skills for them to be independent at the group homes, which means that we have 3 or 4 kinds of group homes. The first one is for those who cannot support themselves, and there they are being taught how to manage money. What is the meaning of money? Why can I spend all my money or all my budget on chocolates? Why should I buy some other things? How to tidy up my bed? How to go to the grocery store and buy the necessities and all kinds of things? How to clean the toilets? Most of them, till the age of 18, 20, someone else did it instead of them. So all of those things, and the most important thing is getting and having a responsibility over the thing that they are doing. So we started 55 years, wow, times fly. How times fly. We, in 2014, 6 years ago, in April, we started with 50, and now I can say that I'm a proud father of 500 participants. But I can say that I am so tremendously proud that those boys and girls that no one gave them a chance suddenly are part of something which is much, much, much bigger. And more than that, I cannot say that I did it alone. We have a remarkable team. I can tell you that I love each one of them like if it was my own family. And we are picking them from the nursery schools, from the social worker school, from the psychologist schools, and we are picking the best of best. And therefore, also we are paying a fair salary just in order to get really the best of the best. And this is the uniqueness, one of the uniquenesses of our program. And my team, I can say that my team is great. I'm not I don't need to manage them. Everyone doing the best, and they are staying late hours, Shishi Shabbat, at the end of the week, and you can see times that on our group WhatsApp group, you see that at the middle of the night there is corresponding by advising, by talking with one another. And it is very, very crucial that we have that team. And not most important, but one of the important ingredients of this melting pot is the JNF. When we started 5-6 years ago, we had 50, and the group from the US came, and we didn't know what is the JNF back then. We know KKL, but we didn't know that the JNF USA is so remarkable skeleton that we can really count on. And from the moment that we started working together, we accelerate in a way that no company in the world can accelerate at that beside Tesla. Beside Tesla, this is the only group or company that I can be related to. So anyhow, we started with 50, and with the support of the JNF, now we are over 500, and I can tell you that I'm proud that I'm leading a tremendous organization, that the only thing that we want to do is good to people. It's to see that everyone is getting the best of the best, really advancing, really progressing. And unfortunately, the last year, the 2020, I can say there is the Black Friday and there is the Black Year. I think 2020 was a very, very challenging year. But nevertheless, we did not give up. When I say that my team is great, some of them even worked without salary and came just in order not to see that the kids are backing down or getting to another places that we don't want them to be in. So finally, at the end of this year, all of them got back to work, and we couldn't have done it without the support that we had from the JNF. And nevertheless, we are now expecting the 2021 that, yeah, I don't know if you know, but Israel is almost 20% of the population is been vaccinated. And we are going to get out of this corona very, very soon, I hope. And I hope that in April, Israel will be the first green country in the world in which we can really get back to normal life. And we pray for it every day. And another project that we are conducting now is a music project that we found out that there are so many autistic or other kind of the disabilities or talented, that they are talented in music. I can send you, or you can get to, especially news from our YouTube page, and you can see some clips that we just released about this program. And we are going to establish a band, especially in uniform band, that will be the only people that will be there will be people from special soldiers from special in uniform. And we have got a full support from the army to conduct and really pursue this dream. And we have also a general professional manager for this group. And this is one project that we are going to lead. Another project that this is the second year that we are leading is for people with hearing impairment. We saw that people with hearing impairment has huge issues within the Israeli army. So with a good friend from Florida, we established the TAN program that enables people with hearing impairment to be integrated in the Israeli society, in the Israeli army, and we are providing accessibility for them and for the other soldiers that are working with them. The third one is the dog, the canine unit. That this is the third year that we are continue with it, and I can tell you that this is a remarkable, tremendous success that we see with people with special need, how they are reacting to one another, with people with special need, with dogs. It's a remarkable program. And as I said, we have 500 now. Our aim was to 1,000. Unfortunately, this Corona time, we reevaluated and readjusted our plan. So we are maintaining with those 500 and giving them the best, instead of enlarging and making some kind of mishmash or thing that we wanted to do. So my line of thinking was cut. So someone asked me that I have to tell my story. How did I get to be part of Special in Uniform? This is a very sad from one hand and very glad and very happy, but that has a happy end. In 2006, I was participating in the Second Lebanese War, and I was severely injured. And unfortunately, I found myself in the hospital, and when I wake up, I was paralyzed neck down. And as for me to be paralyzed, it's not an option, because this is not me. I'm active, I'm sport, everything that is needed to. And when I found out that I'm going to be paralyzed or will be paralyzed neck down, I was I lost the will to live. And I decided not to take any kind of medication. I decided that I'm not going to eat and let nature do what it does best at those kind of situations. And in Israel, I don't know if you know, but during wartime, a lot of delegations are coming. A lot of groups are coming to pay empathy for the wounded soldiers. And one of those groups that came, they were on uniform, but you can see that they are not really soldiers. All of them were some kind of wear different clothes, but all of them were uniforms. And you know, in Israel, in the Israeli army, all the uniforms are the same. And I asked myself, who are those that are coming in those kind? And some of them were on wheelchairs, some of them looked differently. And one of them in particular, one of them came close to my bed, and she looked into my eyes, and I remember her face, smiley, she was glowing, blonde hair, very big, huge blue eyes, and she had a Down syndrome. You know, the round face and all the criteria of Down syndrome. And she got very close to my bed, and she said in Hebrew, can I pet your hand? And I looked at her and I said to myself, what? Do whatever you want, I don't feel nothing. And she took her both two hands and grabbed and pushed very, very hard my left arm. And I saw that she's making a lot of efforts. I saw that her face started to wrinkle. And when she left the grip that she had, I looked at the hand, it was very, very red. But she took a couple of steps back and she said, "Hakol yeh beseder," in Hebrew, everything is going to be all right. And you know, I don't believe in miracles, I'm not religious, but you know, when you are in that kind of situation, you want to believe that a miracle will happen. And when they left, I started to move and nothing happened. But her face is always on my mind, was always on my mind. I tried again and again and again. When I was a while after, I started to feel twinkles in my toes. And I was sure that it was because I didn't believe that I'm going to walk again. But after a while, I started to feel electrical currents that are all over my body in a way that it was very warm feeling. It was not frightening or terrifying or any kind of that kind of electricity that was moving. And suddenly my legs started to shiver or shake. And I was so excited and I tried to move. But at that point, really a miracle happened. And 3 months after, very hard, I was walking very hard, but walking. And today on my feet, doing what I'm doing. And in a way, I know that that lady that came saved my life. And I decided to dedicate my life to people with special needs and to do whatever in my power to make them have a better life. I moved all over and see how can I help them. And I found out that the best place for them to be integrated is the Israeli army. History was made back then, and I can tell you that history is yet to come. And we have changed the face of the state of Israel for people with special. And one more remark about special in uniform. We are talking about light to the nation, and or a startup nation or whatever anyone will call it. We brought special in program to South Carolina and also to West Virginia. And they have two groups on the same model of the Israeli special in uniform due to our support. And we are so proud that from a tiny place at the state of Israel in the Middle East, which has so many challenges, we can bring real light to the nation, real light to the US, and more willing to give all our information, knowledge for free for one concern that wants to follow my cart and say, I want to make it a place for people with special needs. So as for me, this is my mission in life. I love what I'm doing. I'm going to pursue this dream of me, make it better for people with special needs. Thank you for listening. And if you have any kind of questions, I will be more than happy to answer.
Tiran, I've given you a couple in WhatsApp there, and I think then Ken raised his hand.
Mine isn't really a question, but it's actually something that happened to me when I went on Aliyah in 91, 92 period after Desert Storm. And I was over 40 years old, and another American that was living where I was also over 40. And the Army said that they weren't going to take us because they had so many Russians at that time that they dropped the age group down for people that were going on Aliyah. They didn't need the older people. We were told at 40 we were older. And you can never really feel like you've integrated into Israeli society and be a part of Israel if you have not been in the Army. So I can understand how the people with the disabilities would feel reaching that age of 18 and being told that they could not enter into the Army. It's not allowing you to be a complete Israeli. Yeah. So it's a very special program that you do.
Thank you. As for us, it's we have full support of the Army, full support, and we see that 40 is not so old. The Israeli Army has if you want to be a regular or typical soldier, to the age of 26.
Right. So I was an American veteran, so I was looking forward to becoming an Israeli, soldier as well, and just never happened. There was nothing that we could do to get them to change their mind. But
I don't know if you know, but there is a volunteering program by the name of Sarel.
Yeah.
Sarel is or VFI, Volunteers for Israel, that can come no matter the age.
Yep. Now I'm aware of that program also. It's very good.
Mm-hmm.
Tiran, could you explain to us the relationship between the IDF, the Israeli government, JNF, and Special in Uniform?
It's very, very simple. All of them are one group that are working in one vector to make Israeli society better. So the JNF and Special in Uniform, this is one. We are one of their affiliates, and we are partner of them with them. The JNF and Special in Uniform, and the Army is totally in favor of accepting people with special need, from the high rank to the last soldier. We are getting a full support from everyone. It seemed that it's only nature that they will have people with special need in their units. So as a collective, we are the same vector, they said. Connection is very, very good. And we have a full support on one hand from the JNF, from the civilian part, and also from the Army part. And we are in the middle making the best that we can for people with special need, and also for talented. I can tell you that we have some of our soldiers in the places that even me as an veteran Army officer cannot get inside. And they are in a very high security, confidential places that that even if I want to meet them, it's outside of the bed. So some autistic boys that can deliver so much, like the Rainman, people on the spectrum, which has a tremendous talent that can analyze maps, can see things that we cannot. So the connection is very, very good between all the part of it. And I'm really honored and privileged that the JNF is supporting us.
I had, this is Carol Greenberg. Hi, I'm sorry, I have no picture. I had sent in some questions, but I'm looking at them and they really are quite
I don't see them.
Oh, all right, well, let me just tell you then. There are basically two questions, and they have to do with funding and then specific ways that you've been able to translate your programming during the period of COVID. So the first question has to do with whether or not you require support commitment for each person that's accepted into the program from the families that you are helping. And the second one has to do with, has COVID endangered your program in other substantial ways? And is any of your program adaptable to a do-it-yourself online format, at least while COVID is such a problem all over the world? And is the money, if you decide to do something like that, is the money and technology available to make those transitions to your program currently?
Okay, great questions. Thank you. First, the families are not paying nothing. We don't want to overload families because we know let's say the burden of this COVID time. A lot of people are working, so nevertheless, we are not going, or we are not taking any support that the families are getting for the program. We are being assisted by the JNF and also Israeli companies that are helping us. So none of them is being affected by. None of them is being affected by the COVID, or so the families are intact. We are not going to take any support that the family are getting, unless there is a rich families or very, very wealthy families that want to support. We are not going to say no. So as for the COVID, we had very, very challenged year, and we had 3.5 lockdowns. And during the lockdowns, we saw that there is a huge regression within the boys and the girls that are in the program. And we bought for each one of them a laptop, a very expensive one, in which they have a special software that they can communicate virtually and physically with this laptop. But during time, we saw that some of them are not using them correctly and breaking them. So we bought another set, and the new set is in boxes that they cannot be broken. And we are using a lot of technology, but there is no replacement to the human touch or to the human see one another. And we are taking a lot of technological solutions, but it's not the same. I cannot spend. I say we invested so much, but we saw that during time there is no replacement at the bottom line. There is no replacement to one-on-one. So what we did is building some capsule models for our tutors, for our teachers, for our instructors to come to the place, and they are teaching them again, but in the precaution that is needed. And now when we have in the vaccines, it will be much, much easier. And I can tell you that it is very, very challenging, very, very challenging. If in a regular year, let's say we invest in each one of them approximately average of $10,000 per year. This year we invested 35% more in each one of them. We believe that we can cope with the budget, but the idea is that technological solutions are good, but not all the time. And as for the families, they are being intact. All their budgets, all the money that they are getting from the government, we did not touch them or requested them.
Thank you.
I don't see the questions, Sam.
Oh, so I was going to give you one more.
Oh,
one more question, because I think Jamie's going to tell us we're about out of time. Is that right? Yeah. Can I,
Yeah,
so
you,
just
you have a few more minutes.
So one more follow-up question to the budgeting issue. At 13,500 per person, how many people are not able to participate? In other words, how many more people could the program absorb if the funds were there?
Our plan this year was to get 200 more, which means that it's approximately $2 million more. But the 200 will have to wait because we are now concentrating in those that we have in the program. And the waiting list is not a waiting list as a chart. We are still investing in them also, just in order for them not to fly away somewhere, because we believe that we can really provide for them the best program. So we are taking part of our budget, but only to maintain their, let's say, their tension, not to go and fly away. And we think that their place is with us. So we invest also in them, but we have more than 200 in the waiting list.
Sam, so when he just said 13,000, so it's about $4,000 plus the government money, plus the JNF money to support one of these participants each year.
Right, that's the total cost, correct.
I said that. Yes.
Do you have any Ethiopian children? I'm sorry. Do you have any Ethiopians that are participating in the program?
I'm answering. The Israeli society is combined from all kind of layers in the Israeli population. So we have Russians, we have Israelis, very old Olim, new Olim. We have also 3 from Arab countries, from Arab cities, in Lod and Ramle, that are also participating. We are not differentiating whatsoever. All of them with special need are welcomed, even though their family sometimes has some kind of an issue with the army, but we're explaining to them that the army is a platform for them to continue their typical life afterwards. So we have Ethiopian, we have Russians, we have Moroccans, we have from the south, we have from the north, we have Muslims, we have Christians also. So we are not differentiating no one whatsoever.
So to provide funds for this particular program, which I think is wonderful, by the way, is the best way, do you have it, is to earmark money given to JNF or to through Federation through our distribution to Israeli charity or some other method?
Either way is perfectly fine. If the Federation currently has a fund for Israeli programs, we are happy to work with the Federation on that. If you would like to go to jnf.org and /donate, then you can earmark right there for special needs and then send me an email. Let me know you want this special needs, specifically special in uniform. And I'm happy to help that way as well. Either way.
Thank you.
Any other closing questions?
Nope.
Okay.
Great. Thank you so much. I really
Okay.
appreciate both of you joining us
תודה
today.
רבה, and hope to see you next year in Israel after all this mess is over.
Hope to be in Israel next year. Thank you very much. Next week, we have a special food for thought in partnership with the American Jewish Committee. We have the regional director, Dov Wilker, speaking on the state of anti-Semitism in America. So we hope that you will all join us next week.